Okay, that was fucked up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another patron-requested review. This one was requested by a Patreon of mine, Michael Aiello. This is actually, on the date of this video being released, Michael's birthday. So everybody say happy birthday to Michael down below. Michael has been eagerly awaiting for me to review this movie, Martyrs, from 2008. I've never even heard of it before Michael brought it up to me. And I think this is actually the first foreign film that I've ever reviewed on this channel. So hey, poppin' cherries. But Martyrs tells the story of two girls, best friends, Lucy and Anna. Basically, Lucy was found as a young child, around 11 or 12, escaped from captivity for about a year where she was just tortured and brutalized continuously. She befriends Anna, the only person in the world that she trusts or loves. Anna apparently had some kind of abuse as a child as well. Fast forward 13 or 14 years into their adulthood, Lucy's taking revenge on people that she believes responsible for her captivity, and Anna is there to clean up the messes. And that is just the tip of the iceberg and the crazy ass story of this movie. Let me tell you right off the bat, people, this is probably one of, if not the most brutal movie that I've ever sat through in my life. It is rough. And maybe that just says how many foreign films I haven't watched yet, because foreign films tend to really go for it when American films don't tend to do that too much anymore. Like movies like, you know, I Saw the Devil, which is really brutal, but Martyrs takes the cake for brutality and just disturbing images on screen as far as my experience goes. Starting right off with the positives for Martyrs, I will say this. This movie is one of the more surprising experiences that I've been through with a film. Like, the first hour of this movie, I had no idea where things were going. Every time it took a gigantic left turn, there was no way I was ever going to predict it was going that direction. This movie just takes gigantic left turn after left field after left field. It goes in so many different directions that you will not predict at all. Like, if you can honestly predict where this movie is going, I seriously question your honesty, because woo, they go for some crazy ass shit. And it's good to do that. It's good to have a movie that, for a change, can actually surprise you with every single turn that it takes. I don't get that very often. There's a lot of movies that might take one turn that'll surprise me, but most times I've seen enough movies and writing has gotten so kind of, you know, continuously the same in a lot of directions as far as thrillers and, you know, horror movies go, that you can oftentimes, if you're a fan of those genres, predict where things are going to a degree. I had no fucking idea with this one. And that's big kudos to the story of the film too, because just starting off where you see this girl running out of this hangar, brutalized head to toe, and then the movie cuts and shows this friendship budding while the credits are going, and then 12, 13 years later, you're with this rich family and you have no idea, or like, who are these people? Okay, these are the new protagonists, cool. We'll hang out with them for a while. Oh, fuck, nope, never mind. The story between Lucy and Anna and the crazy shit that is going on in their relationship was fascinating, especially for the first two acts. I mean, we're going through and we're seeing how fucked up Lucy still is over the events of her childhood. She's got this demonic manifestation of this dead woman who's chasing her and brutalizing her while she is trying to just go on with her life, which adds for some really scary sequences, like genuinely messed up in the head, nightmare-inducing sequences in this movie regarding Lucy's manifestation of her guilt.
I can't, it's locked!
And the performances certainly help that story along too. The performances behind Lucy and Anna and the side characters in this movie are all very good. There's nobody that stands out as like this weird performance. Everybody really goes for it. You believe anybody when they're scared, when they're trying to show pain, when they're trying to show like guilt or sadness. All the emotions they're going for in this movie, they land. The performances are good. And ultimately, I gotta give points for this movie being unique, because not only is it unique in the fact that it surprised me pretty much every turn that it was taken, just the story and the themes they're going for in Martyrs is something that I have not seen before. So maybe there's a lot of movies out there like it that I have not seen, but For me, this was a genuinely unique viewing experience. Moving on to the negatives of Martyrs though, unfortunately for me, the third act of this movie kind of killed it, to be honest. There was a lot of things going on in the first two acts where I was glued to the screen, I was totally sucked in. Even when it got really dark and brutal and fucked up, I was just curious beyond belief about what the next turn was going to be, where this movie was heading. And when I finally got to that destination in this third act of where this movie actually was going, I gotta be honest, it turned me off a little bit. Not only because the story direction that it was going seemed a little bit predictable in that third act. Like as soon as it started, I was like, I bet it's gonna end up in this place, and it did. But aside from that, really, hopefully this isn't a spoiler, but like the last 30 to 35 minutes of this movie is literally just watching a woman get brutalized over and over and over and over and over again for the entirety of the third act. And after a while, I mean, that shit's hard to watch just for a few scenes as it is, but just continuously, just 30, 40 minutes straight of just a girl getting the shit beat out of her and getting cut up and getting smacked around and tortured and abused. That shit is taxing as fuck, and it's not really high on the entertainment value scale for me. I can't get into movies like that. I don't really get into Last House on the Left. I don't get into I Spit on Your Grave, and this is like the most extreme example of all of those things in Martyrs. So the third act for me, it kind of killed the movie for me. I didn't hate it by any means by the end of the third act, and you're gonna find out by the rating of this movie that I'm gonna give at the end that I certainly didn't kill it completely, but the third act was just rough to get through. The last thing that I'll say regarding negatives of this movie is not gonna be a negative for everybody. I'm just putting it out there as kind of a bit of a warning. If you're not into endings that kind of leave things up to your interpretation and leave a lot of things to be, you know, leave a lot to your imagination and leave a lot to your own interpretations of where things actually went and what themes they were actually going for with the final couple of scenes. If you're not into that kind of stuff, the ending is going to leave you a little bit soured as well, especially if you were kind of already soured throughout the third act like I was. So know who you are whenever you get to the ending. It's not going to be an ending that's this definitive close to the story. It leaves a lot of threads open for your own interpretation. So sometimes that works for me, sometimes it doesn't. I was kind of in the middle on this one. The third act, just the whole brutality side of it though, was kind of what got me in that weird mood by the end of this movie. So all in all, guys, I will say that Martyrs is definitely a movie that I would recommend if you are really into horror and psychological thrillers and weird dramas and stuff like that. And all the things that I've talked about in my positive sounds like your kind of movie. By all means, please check this out. It was on Amazon Video. That's how I checked it out. There's an American remake, I guess, but I've heard that it's not very good. So this is actually the one to check out because foreign films go for that brutality when American films do not sometimes. So if you want to check it out, I do recommend checking this movie out. Just be aware that that third act is going to be very taxing and a complete turnoff for some of you if you do not like that type of movie. So while it's certainly not high on my rewatchability for that third act alone, I will say this is a unique viewing experience that took a lot of turns that really surprised me and brutality that just went for it, that totally knocked me on my ass for the first two acts of this movie. And for all that alone, I absolutely have to recommend that you check this thing out. But with the third act being such a taxing experience, I'm gonna recommend that you save a little bit of money and check this movie out on Netflix. So what do you guys think of Martyrs? Have you seen this original French movie or are you a fan of the American remake? Have you seen both of them? Are you one that actually likes both or you prefer the remake? Put all of your thoughts on Martyrs, both the American and the French version. Michael, thank you for this Patreon request. Very unique experience, man. It was a wild movie. Beyond belief, I will say that. So one of the most wild viewing experiences I've had in a long time. So thank you for that. Happy birthday once again. Thank you for this request. If you guys want to check out some more of these videos, please like and share this one and hit that subscribe button if you are not already a subscriber. If you want to check out some of my social media links, check those out down below in the video description. I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spreadshirt for some Cody Leach merchandise, and my Patreon page, which is a great way to have requests like Michael's and get your voice heard to help shape this channel. And also, it's just a great way to give back to this channel and help it grow. So check that out, guys. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, as always, you can check those out by clicking right over here.